You know, it seems like I just can't stay out of hot topics with SEGASLAYER64 complaints videos. But with just 4 more days left to go until the game comes out, I just had to. I had to make this video. So sit back, put your listening ears on, because you're watching SEGASLAYER64 complaints. I know what you're thinking. SEGASLAYER, what are you talking about? I thought you were hyped for this game. I thought you were hyped. I thought you had it pre-ordered, and that's all true, right? I do have this game pre-ordered, and I want to specify specifically, because this video follows specific conditions that I feel like I need to explain before we get in. First off, I'm not talking about shadow content, period. None of the shadow stuff is a scam. That stuff looks amazing and phenomenal. I'll just put shadow on the thumbnail because, clickbait or whatever. But that stuff is phenomenal. I really enjoy the shadow stuff. I've been following all the trailers and, it looks really good. It looks really fun, and I'm extremely hype about that, right? And I also want to state, I'm not talking about consoles in this video, and that'll make a little more sense as we get deeper in. And what I'm talking about today is specifically Sonic Generations on PC, because I'm sure other people have talked about this before me, but I just can't shake this feeling that I'm being scammed. And again, disclaimer, I've had my game pre-ordered since July. Here, I'll even put a picture up on screen in my library. You can see my name at the top, so you know I'm not lying. I definitely have the game pre-ordered, and I'm already hyped for it, and I bought it anyway, right? But I also have Sonic Generations, the original game, in my library, and I have had it in there since 2020, and then I had the 360 version back in the day, and I can't help but feel like Sega is just scamming me out of like at least $30, right? Because I brought the digital deluxe, right? So I know most people would probably buy most people are probably going to buy the normal version for $50, but I brought mine for $60, so I'm going to be looking at this from a $60 perspective, because that is just how I brought mine, right? But when I say I'm mostly focusing on PC, I want to talk about being saddled with buying Generations along with the shadow stuff. Because as someone who has the game on PC, right, I don't notice any notable improvements to the gameplay or the visuals, because this is a quote-unquote remaster. And it's important here to differentiate between remake and remaster, right? A remaster is a game having sort of upscaled visuals, right? So this could just be Sega enhancing the game from, I don't know, 720p to 4K or 1080p or whatever, that's a remaster, right? A remake is going in and completely redoing the game, redoing the engine and everything. So I need to differentiate between that, because this is a remaster, not a remake, okay? And I'm just gonna straight up say it. I am really excited for the shadow stuff, but I don't think the shadow stuff is worth $60, right? I'll include it with Generations. I don't. I'm of the opinion, right? And again, we got as much information as we're probably gonna get, because the game comes out Tuesday, right? So it comes out Tuesday for me, again, because I played 3 days earlier. By the way, shameless advertisement right here in the middle of the video, but if you want to catch the game early, I will be live streaming it for the first 3 days exclusively that I have it. So that'll be the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th, because everyone else gets it the 25th. So for 3 days, I'll be live streaming the game. We'll be checking out both Generations and Shadow. So if you want to check that out, or you want to get or you want to see the gameplay early, make sure to put notifications on, because I'll be going live. But that's beyond the point, right? I don't think the shadow stuff is a majority of this game, right? I'm sorry, I just don't. Me and my friend Lemilty the Banana, or James as I call him, we were talking about this a while back, right? And when we were talking about it, I was explaining to him that I don't see the shadow content being over an hour. Now, Sonic Generations base is apparently 5 hours, right? Now, I'm a Sonic veteran. It does not take me 5 hours to beat Sonic Generations. It takes me maybe 2, right? So I know that if I play Shadow and Sonic Generations already takes me or maybe 2 to an hour to beat, right? Especially if I'm just blasting through the levels, it takes me maybe like an hour to beat Generations, right? If I'm trying to get some more of the secrets or whatever, it'll take me probably 2 hours. I don't think it's going to take me longer than 30 minutes to an hour to beat Shadow, and I'm not lying. We're going to beat it on the first day on stream. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I accept that. I want to say that right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I accept that, right? But $60, you're telling me Sega wants me to pay $60 for, because I'm still saying it right now, Generations is the bulk of this game, and I think we all know that. Shadow is not longer, because Sonic Generations rides on this 5-hour time limit that it takes to beat the game, right? That's what it says. If you look it up on Google, I'll even place it up on screen so you can see it. Sonic Generations rides on this sort of, it takes 5 hours to beat the game sort of mentality, so Sega is using that as a bulk of content to really justify this. And the problem for me is I'm not seeing what makes this worth the extra money, right? Because what we've learned from Sega is that all they're adding to Generations is a few new challenges, what seems to be, they said Casino Night Zone, but from what I've seen, I've watched all the trailers, Casino Night Zone just looks like a pinball thing. Editor SEGASLAYER here, interjecting with terrible mic quality, because I couldn't be bothered to grab my mic. But as I was sitting here editing this, I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, I vividly remember that Casino Night's pinball game being DLC with the original game. Keep in mind, I've had this game on 360, I currently have it on PC, I have it on 3DS, right? And Casino Night is directly in 3DS, in the 3DS game. But I remember there being that same pinball DLC game that they keep showing on the trailers in the original game. So that's not even a point that they have for this remaster. It's in the original game. It's DLC. I have it. I own it. So that knocks another point off this game. It just looks like a little pinball minigame. We're supposed to be getting a couple new challenges, and they haven't said this specifically, and I'm playing the trailers in the background of this video for you to see. They haven't said this specifically, but I'm pretty much guaranteeing it that you'll probably be able to play as Shadow and the former Generations levels, right? My problem here is that is not worth $60. This remaster, I'm forced to be saddled with something I don't need, right? Because I'm going to put some side-by-side gameplay that I captured up here on screen, right? Okay, so Editor SEGASLAYER here again. Here's 2 photos side-by-side on screen. And I want you to genuinely tell me right now, prove to me right now in the comments which one is which, because I'm not going to tell you. I want you to genuinely tell me that you can see a difference between these two. One is Sonic X Shadow, the other is of an actual Generations game that I did, and I took a picture of it and left it here. I want you to genuinely tell me there's a major difference between these two images. Because if you showed me to these two right here, I would not be able to tell you which one was which, right? I wouldn't be able to tell you. So I need you to tell me which version is which. This is not worth the money. Getting this quote-unquote remaster of Generations, it's not worth the money. It's not. I'm sorry. Some of you guys might be mad at me in the comments, but it's just not. I see no visual upgrade, no major visual upgrade that makes this look anywhere worth the money, okay? And granted, this is a remaster, but this is a remaster not worth $60. But I'm gonna pass it back over to Pass Marvin. I don't see what makes this game worth $60. I'm sorry, but as a PC owner of the game, right? And I want to differentiate between consoles, because I'll explain consoles in a few seconds. But as a PC owner of the game, I notice no notable difference in visuals or anything major that would make this purchase really worth it for me, right? Again, outside of the Shadow stuff. But my point of all this is that I shouldn't be forced to buy a copy of Generations, because I'm never gonna play this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there aren't either. If you own this game on PC, you're never gonna play it. Why would you play this when you already have a version of Generations that you have your mods already set up for? And I know the first retort I'm gonna get in the comments: Sega's already said they're not delisting the previous version of Generations. Your mods they'll be fine. And that's not the problem. Thank you, Sega, for doing that, right? But that should have never been a question in the first place. That's number one. Number two, I shouldn't have to be saddled to buy a new version of Generations then. If you're not delisting my old version, if my mods aren't as at risk, and this new version doesn't even look significantly better than PC Generations, then why am I forced to buy this? Why can I not just buy the Shadow stuff separately? And this argument is a little bit different on console, and the reason I say that is, for those of you on PS4, and I have my own separate gripes with the PS4 version, but I'll talk about that in a second. But for those of you on PS4 or PS5 or Xbox One or Xbox Series X, well, sort of with Xbox Series X, right? You have no way to play the modern day Sonic generations. You have no way to play that modern day, except the Xbox Series X and S and the Xbox Ones do have backwards compatibility, but even with backwards compat, the game, they don't make it anymore. So like, I don't see it at stores anymore. They don't make it anymore. So it's becoming a little bit more and more harder to find it unless you want to buy it used, and Sega doesn't see any of those profits, right? Though I think you can get it on Xbox Live. Don't quote me. If you can, I'll probably have a little picture of it up on the Xbox store on screen for you to go ahead and see. But I still, and you know, on PlayStation, there's nothing. On PlayStation, you have nothing unless you want to do that stupid streaming thing that nobody likes, right? That's terrible. Nobody wants to do that. But on PC, we already have a copy of Generations that's good enough, that looks good enough, and we would have been more than happy. I'm sure most of us would have been more than content with buying a Shadow version, just the Shadow stuff on its own for maybe $30, maybe $40. I don't know. I don't see the Shadow stuff being the bulk of the content. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm letting you guys know right now. If I eat rocks for this and I'm wrong, I will gladly admit on stream that I ate rocks, okay? But I had to talk about this because it's just bothering me. I don't like being forced to buy content that I don't want for an exorbitant price, right? $60 is a lot of money for a lot of people, right? Especially in the current day and time where people are struggling and things like that, right? And I'm not complaining about spending $60. I'd spend $60 on, a Sonic game any day of the week, but I just don't want, I feel like spending $60 for a game that is not even that old. And then we haven't even gotten to the question of how is it ethical for this game to be getting a remaster this early on. But I'll talk more about that in a separate SEGASLAYER64 complaints video. I don't want to get into the remaster stuff here. That's a different debate for a different day. But like, $60, again, the bulk of the content is going to be Generations. And I understand, because I'm sorry, but they did this crap with Origins too, right? I don't think a couple extra challenges, because Generations already had a lot of challenges, right? So I don't think a couple extra challenges and what looks to be a pinball stage, and that might even be digital deluxe only. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll have to read through the Steam page and I'll put it up while I'm editing the video. But I don't know. That might be digital deluxe only. So I don't think if you're a normal customer just buying this game, right, on PC, and you already own Generations, and if Sega's not delisting the original Generations, you could just go buy that and have a bunch of mods, right? Because there are mods out there that already make Generations look way better than this quote-unquote remaster does, and this quote-unquote remaster already doesn't look better than the original Generations to me. But then again, I don't know, right? Maybe so. There's people out there who can see the fine details, and they're like, oh my god, this looks 10 times better. I can't believe it. And like I said, if it does, when I play it on stream, when I play it those 3 days, 3 days earlier, remember, notifications on. When I play it those 3 days earlier, if it really does look better, I will gladly eat my rocks and be happy with it, right? I'll gladly admit I was wrong. I'll even come back and make a whole video saying I was wrong. But as it stands now, I just don't think I'm wrong. I feel scammed. I can't help but feeling scammed, and I'm not mad at Sega, alright? I'm not. They've been doing some scummier stuff, in my opinion, as of late, these last couple years, right? They have, and it's been really annoying, but, make that money, Sega. Make that money. Y'all been out here making that money. I'm not gonna lie. I still brought it, so, at the end of the day, maybe my word means nothing, but to just have to be saddled with a game that doesn't really look like it has any notable improvement other than Sega just throwing a few challenges my way when I already have a perfectly good copy of that game that I've had for years that doesn't look noticeably worse, right? And it's probably only missing what, a couple stages and the ability to play Shadow. And modding Generations is so easy, and there's already thousands of mods out there and I already have a Shadow mod installed. If I wanted to play, you know, Sonic Shadow and Sonic Generations, I could just easily install a mod. And again, I like I said, I'm separating console and PC here. For Switch, dude, I can't tell you how much I would have wanted a copy of Generations on my 3DS as a kid, right? How much I did. And I had Generations 3DS, right? And I love that game. And you know, they want to include that on the PC, like they did with you know, like as a little bonus content, then I would have been more than content to go ahead and be like, you know what, man, this game is worth it. I changed my mind. But they're not doing that, right? The copy of Generations on 3DS is so neat and so awesome that nobody talks or cares about it, but they really need to. It's a really neat game with its own unique stages, and I love it. But if they had included something like that in, you know, being on Switch now is insane, right? I love the idea that I can finally own a Generations game on Switch. I'm not going to, because I don't really play my Switch too much outside of Animal Crossing these days, but it would still be like a really cool experience to have that, right? And that makes it worthwhile to me. But like on PC, I just need to make the distinction. PC, this feels unnecessary. It feels sort of predatory, and it's just kind of scammy and scummy in my opinion. But again, I'm not mad at Sega. I'm not out here saying don't buy the game. Still go out here and get the game. This Shadow stuff's gonna look, it looks amazing, and the Shadow stuff is worth it. Even if it's short, it is worth it. I've been rambling on for a long time now. I hope you understand the general gist of what I was trying to say in this video, and I got it out to you. That I just feel like, to sum it up, I just feel like I'm being scammed on PC as a PC player. I'm being saddled with a game that I already have with, it seems to be no notable improvements to me, because I watched all of the trailers. There seems to be no notable improvements to me. I'm being forced to be saddled with a game that I already own with no notable improvements, and I'm never gonna play it. This game's gonna sit in my library forever, right, and just never get played when I go click my normal version of Generations. So it's a real waste of money to me. At least that's what it feels like, right? So, you know, maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people will start making mods for this version and not the old version, and so I'll have to play this version instead of the old version. But I don't know. Let me know your opinions down below. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Do you feel like Sonic Generations on PC, Sonic X Shadow on PC, is a scam? Are you okay with buying a new version of Generations, even if you already own the original version and you don't see any noticeable upgrades? Are you upset about it? Do you want Sega I had hope throughout the early days that we would get the option to just buy Shadow content, because I would have been more than happy to just pay for the Shadow DLC alone for the version of Generations I already have. But nope, alas, it was not meant to be. So yeah, let me know your opinions down in the comments below. I've been the one and only world's coolest Sega enthusiast, SEGASLAYER64, and until next time, make sure to have a great day, great night, or great anytime. Have a good one, Slayers.